creative is incredibly important. I really can't stress that enough. So what are some of the benefits of Meta ads? Because you can target based on interest in online activity, you can hit people at multiple different stages of the journey, right? So again, allowing you to follow audiences around the internet based on their online behavior, based on what we know as them as a human, it just gives us a little bit different of a targeting option than what Google has available to us. And if you know what you're doing, that can be incredibly lethal and valuable. So another key point here, like I showed you with that funnel diagram, is that it allows us to hit multiple stages of the journey. So top funnel, mid funnel, bottom funnel, we can target all different levels of that, both with how we're sending the ads in terms of who and how we're targeting them. Cold audiences, people that have never seen your firm before, have no idea who you are, people that are on your email list, people that have been to your website, past clients. There's all sorts of different levels of stages that we can target based on what we know is the level of intent. Google, we have to use keywords to derive intent, right? So if you're a car accident lawyer, a top funnel ad might be what to do after a car accident in Georgia, right? We can send a pay-per-click ad going after that. With Facebook though, we can run ads, video ads that are much more information, entertainment, engagement-based video to just go after people that are higher before. They don't know who you are. We know that they don't know who you are based on their online activity, and we can warm them up with content. What's also really great about Meta and Facebook is that they're the most used platforms on the planet. I mean, billions of active users. The biggest difference, again, between Google and Facebook, if you're an attorney, if you're advertising on Google, you only get one crack at that searcher. That's it. So you have a much less opportunity to actually capture that type of traffic in that phone call versus on Meta, people are going there dozens of times a day and spending hours and hours and hours on the platform. Every time they refresh that feed, new ads get served, right? So you're able to hit people where they're spending a lot more time on the actual platform to be able to get your message in front of them over and over and over again with different angles, with different creative, different copy, etc. Much lower cost here too. This is probably going to be the biggest benefit for a lot of you. Most of you are going to be priced out of Google at this point, especially if you're in the injury space. You can't pay $350 per click. A lot of you are looking at, for car accidents, a couple $1,000s to sign a client in our case. It doesn't make sense if you're a smaller firm, but on Facebook, the cost is much, much lower because of what I just talked about, how people are using that platform much more, they're checking it more, the cost of the attention there is lower, right? And because we can use creative to massage the messaging and get in front of that audience and try and convince them, if you know what you're doing, it's much, much cheaper to sign cases and get leads off of Facebook than it is off Google. Now, of course, there's downsides to that too. There's challenges that come along with this as well. It's not that easy. If it was easy, you wouldn't be watching this right now, trust me. So I know that. One of the biggest challenges is that the lead quality isn't as good as other platforms, especially in the injury accident space, because frankly, people aren't on Facebook to find a car accident or an injury lawyer. So we have to use messaging that brings people out of the woodwork, right? Get compensated. You might be entitled to compensation. That's going to bring a lot of people out of the woodwork. Now, the good news is that the cost per lead is so much lower that the cost per signed case still comes out to lower than other platforms, but it can put a lot of drain on your intake team because they're going to be dealing with a lot more leads that are lower quality. So there needs to be conversations with intake. Intake needs to be intimately involved with this advertising process, and you gotta have good intake. Now, there's things that we can do in terms of automations, in terms of qualifying the leads ahead of time, but again, your intake team needs to be on board with all this stuff. So another thing here is you need video. I know a lot of you don't wanna do video. You got stuff going on, you're busy, I get it, me too, right? Maybe not as busy as you, but you gotta do it. You just have to do it. It's the only way to stand out. You need video to have success on Facebook, and that's a big diversion from Google where you don't need to do anything, right? You hire an agency, you hire a person, they do everything for you. It's done. You're getting phone calls and leads without any effort. Now that comes with a higher cost, but video is essential if you want to have success on Facebook. It's also a much more complex media buying platform. Google's not easy in itself, but you're gonna need an agency or an expert to actually run the ads. Again, I'm gonna show you how to do it as we get through this training. So it's also not an overnight solution. No marketing thing is, no advertising solution is gonna be, click a button. You need to give the Meta algorithm time. You need to train the algorithm on who you want to target, since there's no way to just go and target and say, I want to target people who are in a car accident, I want to target people who are in a divorce. It's illegal. We can't. Facebook doesn't have access to that level of data. So we need to use creative and messaging and then send the message back to Facebook about what a lead looks like for you, what a success looks like for you. That means connecting your CRM,
Whenever you sign a case, we can send that data back to the Facebook platform. So then Facebook's like, okay, I get it now. You want to target people that were in a car accident in the last 14 days? I got you. But that takes time, 90, 180 days of running ads, spending money, building, training the algorithm. But once you get that dialed in, you won't be able to live without Meta. And it's going to be a very, very amazing flywheel for your law firm. Hey, Ryan here. Hope you liked that video. If you want more, check out these 2 videos right here on the screen.